Well, we had a little breaking news today. Cam Heyward signed. How awesome is that?
Yay. I'm happy
Very
for the
happy.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any Yinzer out there, true Yinzer, could be disappointed with it.
I'm shocked by the couple of like complainers that I've run across. They all seem to be under this delusional thought that Hayward has been some like injury riddled old man for like 8 seasons. Like, I don't know where you're getting that from. I think it was Allison probably remembers it was 4 seasons that it's been, from last year, before last year, they had like an injury that cost him any significant time. I mean, that's a long time for a player that plays as hard and as many snaps as he does.
Yeah.
Look at
I
his
think it's a mix of
numbers.
that and
Right.
oh, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, look at his numbers. I think wasn't he put before he got hurt? Wasn't he posting like 10, 11 sacks a year every year or
Yeah,
something like that?
I think he had two back-to-back 10 plus sack seasons right before the season before the groin injury.
So
I mean,
I think it's a mix of that and a little bit of remorse of not getting Brandon Aiyuk.
yeah.
So, it's like which you got to get over. I think Joe and I were over it like a month and a half ago. We kind of thought it wasn't going to happen. It didn't happen. Not a big surprise, and you got to move on. But yeah, I mean, if there's a team right now that probably desperately needs some senior leadership and a captain, because I think this team's probably underdeveloped, it's now, and that's the guy you need. So hats off to the Steelers. It's great that he's going to retire Stiller, and it's not a bad hit too. At 3 years of 45, and what 16 million is already accounted for. He gets a $15 million signing bonus. So
we were already giving him 16 million this year. The contract is almost like it's like the equivalent of like a handshake. Like, we want to keep you, and this shows we want to keep you because we're going to give you the 16 million we were already going to give you regardless. And then, if you get hurt again or you don't perform, we'll drop the Ben Hines Ward X on you and just tell me that, we don't want to keep you. I mean, I don't know that there's like a serious downside for the Steelers in this. I think it's a show of good faith. I think it keeps Cam, it eliminates drama.
Yeah. Yeah, right. For sure. Because, nobody. I mean, I saw, I shared a post on Twitter the other day, reshared a picture of Franco Harris in a Seahawks uniform, right? And it was something like, post a picture of like, why does post the most wrong looking picture of any athlete you can think of, and that was one, and that was it. And I was like, I sort of wondered, like, I can't imagine, because that Cam, if he hadn't gotten, he would have gone somewhere else. I don't think that he would have retired. He wouldn't wanted to go somewhere else, but I feel like he would have gone to play for a few more years for somebody else, hopefully not the Browns. But now, either way, he's not going.
The injury, I think he felt like he had something to prove.
Yeah. So now we don't have to, we don't have to see that happen, right? So that's really great. Yeah.
They actually saved $9 million by extending him.
I heard that earlier. Some cap space in case we want to, I don't know, bring back Patrick Peterson.
Right. Yeah.
Oh no. I think that's part of the remorse too, right? I mean, we saw what happened with him, but I mean, I think that's also on the Steelers putting him in a position that he probably wasn't, meant to be. It's not like they're going to take Cam Heyward and put him as a safety or a linebacker. He's going to be a trench guy. It's what he's always been, and he'll do well. And again, I still say, I think some people say it's you're full of crap, but you still need that voice in the locker room. You still need that voice for a reason. He's it. He's been it for the last 8 to 10 years. So you might as well finish with it.
Now let's get him a damn Super Bowl.
Yes.
Has he ever been in a? Was he in? He was in the Green Bay Super Bowl, right?
No, I think he came this season after.
Wow.
He came the season after.
Oh,
yeah, how about this ridiculous stat? That TJ Watt's never won a playoff game. Like, every time I hear that, I can't wrap my head around it. My brain like shuts that fact out, and then it'll come up again later, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot that I knew that. I don't want to know that.
Oh, that's just
yeah, and it does. I don't care what anybody says. It does diminish your credentials a tad. Like, JJ Watt's probably a lock for the Hall of Fame, but there's that hanging over him where I don't know if they even won a playoff game. Maybe he won one ever in his career there, and it's like, I mean, yeah, you have to just wonder if that, at least Mike Singletary won one early in his career, right? And Reggie White, if it wasn't for him going to the Packers, he probably never would have won one. But I mean, how many times do you see the Reggie White highlights, and it's always Super Bowl 31, and he took over that game, and otherwise he may have been just a great guy that played for, the Eagles that never won a Super Bowl. So yeah,
that's 3 playoff wins in his career. JJ, 2012 AFC wild card, 2013 AFC wild card, and then 2020 AFC wild card. All with
that's more than I thought.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was 1.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Right.
How many did Derek Watt win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that they signed Cam,
yeah,
who's next?
Freiermuth. I was surprised that they actually, for whatever reason, I was surprised that his was first, but not that it really matters. I mean, part of me would rather them wait. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what if Arthur Smith's offense, doesn't, falls flat, right? And what if he doesn't have the career season that we're all expecting him to have? Like, what do you do then? And I sort of feel like I like him, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like him. I mean, I'm a Penn Stater, right?
Right. Yeah.
But,
sure you are.
when we get to the pros, as much as a Penn Stater wants a Penn Stater to do well, a Pitt guy Giro wants to see a Pitt person do well, a WV alum, if I was at Latrobe several times, and honestly, Frazier may have been the most popular guy there.
Yeah.
Because of the WVU contingent. So I'm with you though, Allison. I feel like he needs to prove himself. Like, okay, you are in the Arthur Smith offense now. That's supposed to be tight end talented. It's supposed to bring out the best in you. Let's see if it brings out the best in him. Because I don't think we've seen his best yet. And I know he's had some horrible offensive coordinators, quarterback roulette. But you know what? You should have a decent quarterback throwing to you this year. If you go 700 yards, what did I say last week, Joe? Go 700, 800 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, and I'm good. But, we can't do 300 yards and 3 touchdowns or 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. And,
right.
I think
Muth
with
was great.
How is he any more worthy of like the contract extension than Najee Harris? Like, I don't see him as being like any more earth shattering than Naj. And so if you're not going to give it to Naj this season, and by the way, he wasn't asking for like $30 million or something.
Right.
Then how does it make sense to give it to Freiermuth? I feel like they're on that same kind of plane.
The Najee thing makes no sense because you would have had him for 1 year for like $6 million. How do you not?
Yeah,
I mean, $6 million is
still
chump
baffled
change.
by that.
I don't understand it at all.
That was weird.
Right.
If he does perform so well in Arthur Smith's offense this year, which is what you're hoping for, that he proves himself, then you're going to pay him more. So to me, even if he wasn't, like, if he had a year commensurate with the other years he's had, he'd be worth that $6 or $7 million or whatever it was. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
I think
and Joe and I talked about that last week. And Joe, I mean, his stats are quite impressive for all the crap he's played with and behind. You could argue maybe the most impressive of considering what he's had to play with and who he's had to play for.
Yeah.
So I wholeheartedly agree. And I really feel like, and Joe, you chime in when you're ready, because I know you agree. I think he's gone after the season. I think he's gonna try to do as best he can, have a breakout season or whatever, and he's gone. I think they blew that. Najee.
Oh, Najee's gone. Yeah. I think the biggest question about Freiermuth is his health. Can he stay healthy? Because he's had a whole bunch of injuries. It's like, hey man, you gotta be available. Because I think if he could stay healthy, I think he'll have a great season.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the concussions are scary for him, right? Because it seemed like, I feel like one of the last ones, and maybe I'm just making shit up, but I feel like one of the last ones when they showed it, like the hit, it was like somebody just went like that. You know what I mean?
Wasn't it when all that stuff
like it was that
same time as like Tua? I mean, all that stuff was really concerning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I think, I mean, to me, that's super concerning because I feel like the last concussion he had, we were all hearing like, he can maybe do this one more time. You know what I mean? Like, you can't keep getting hit in the head like that. I mean, this isn't, you don't want this kid's, forget football. You don't want this kid's life to be like in danger. You know what I mean? He's so young.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm not sold on giving him with a contract either. And
yeah.
I mean, it's just it's just weird. It's like the Steelers are saying almost to the whole team, like, well, we'll wait and see. We don't know. We don't know whether this, maybe they're like you said, I was like, I don't know whether this is gonna work or not. So, let's just hope. Maybe Arthur Smith will suck. Maybe Russell Wilson will suck. Maybe all this will be terrible. We'll just blow the whole thing. And if they want to blow the whole thing up, they could. They have like a ton of cap space next year. So
yeah, they do.
And that's what they told Najee Harris, according to Harris. Do you know what I mean? That like, we don't really know what's gonna happen with the offense this year. We'll see. Which is crazy to me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that you don't know, but you're not supposed to say that out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it till you make it, man. Come on.
It's not you. We're worried about everyone else. It's what we okay.
Valid concern there.
Yeah. So this past week we have finally had the death of Aiyuk watch.
Yeah.
I hate him and I hate the 49ers. I hate the numbers 4 and 9. I hate the number 13. I hate I had 11. I had a whole bunch of fantasy football drafts the past couple days, and I had a chance to take Aiyuk. I'm like, no, I do not want you on my team. But the talk is this is what the average fan is saying. Stupid Omar Khan waited till the last minute to get Aiyuk, and now he didn't get him, and now the Steelers are screwed. You really think that's how that went down? I highly doubt that.
They made an offer, and the 49ers wouldn't take their part of it. I mean, that was the narrative from the get-go. The Steelers made an offer. Aiyuk said yes to the deal. The 49ers wanted a wide receiver or somebody substantial in return. The Steelers weren't willing to give up that substantial player. I heard it was TJ Watt. I did a piece on it the other day. I don't know if we know if that's true or not, but Albert Freer from Sports Illustrated said it was Watt was one of the players they were interested in. Obviously, the Steelers weren't going to give Watt up. They were offering like second and third round picks or something, and the 49ers wouldn't take it. And so the deal just hit a standstill. Freer said that Aiyuk was never interested in going to the Browns or Patriots. They were never serious contenders, despite the Browns making like a substantial offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do kind of wonder if they were like, pawns or whatever, like maybe Aiyuk was thinking, because this has been speculated a lot. Maybe Aiyuk was like, okay, I'm going to try and, have the 49ers up their deal, up what they're offering.
The same thing he got offered to be like the second offer they made him is he just walked away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
All this for nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think they got played a little bit. I mean, you never really even heard Aiyuk say, I want to go to the Steelers. It's where I want to be. Right. He's it just didn't.
He did say it once on like the Pivot podcast, but this was like before. Yeah, it was early, super early, like in the spring or something.
He's also not going to ever say that if he's got 4 brain cells to rub together, because you're trying to play all sides of this situation. You know what I mean? To and include the team you're on that you're now hoping is going to increase the amount of money they offer you. Because as soon as you say you want to go to the Steelers, the 49ers aren't desperate to try to keep you. We want volunteers, not hostages. I'm sure the 49ers feel the same way.
Yeah, I can see that, but still, the way I look at it is I feel the Steelers got played a little bit. He was not going to come here. He was not coming here, and he used that for leverage, and he got what he wanted to do, and that was it. And the Steelers, you look back to the Deontay Johnson thing. At the time, I was okay with the trade. They needed speed at the cornerback position. They got that. But, they had nothing to give back. I mean, maybe with the 49ers taking Deontay Johnson, maybe they sure are not, going to take anything else that we have to offer. Yeah. There wasn't really much to offer. So, you look at it and it's just not didn't work out the way it should have been. And I think the Steelers did fairly well in the offseason. They certainly weren't an F grade. Omar's done pretty good, but this is one where they missed big. The plan B, if there was a plan B, didn't work. The players didn't come to fruition like they wanted to. I think they hung on to Aiyuk a little too long. I think they could have got off of that and tried to find somebody else because right now I think we have the worst receiving core in the room.
That I agree with. That I don't think that the Steelers, and I don't think Omar Khan got duped for a second. I think this is like if you see a car on Facebook Marketplace and you're like, they went $3,000 for it. You're like, I'll give you $1,500, and they're like, no, and I'm going to dig in our heels. And then they come back to you a month later and are like, okay, I'll take your $1,500. You didn't get played. Do you know what I mean? Or if they never take your deal, you didn't get played. You put your offer out there and they chose not to take it. And that's how I look at Aiyuk. Omar Khan made an offer that was reasonable and fair for a player that has had one really good season, and the 49ers wouldn't agree to it. Do you know what I mean? And so did maybe Aiyuk play everybody a little bit? Maybe, but I think he was doing business. And I think that the Steelers and Omar Khan made an offer. It didn't work out. And I don't think they got played. I don't know that I really think Omar Khan ever really believed he was going to get Aiyuk. I think he felt like, well, I'll throw a number out there because if we can get him for something that makes sense for the team, of course we'll take him, but we're not desperate. We're not throwing TJ Watt and George Pickens and all kinds of stuff at him for this. I mean, I think that maybe they should have picked somebody else up. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I feel like, okay, if you use the car analogy, you want to throw a number out there, fine. Okay, I don't get it. Move on and find the next guy.
Right.
It just felt like they never found the next guy because now we're sitting here and Van Jefferson
Although
is our
according
number
to
2
Tomlin,
receiver.
we don't need him. We've got him. Van Jefferson and Scotty.
Right.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
2 Super Bowl winners.
I'd be happier with Justin Jefferson, but
well, I mean,
I think I think the agent for Aiyuk deserves like Agent of the Year award or something because I'll bet this is what happened back in like March or May or something like that. He said, "Listen, I could get you off of to take off this summer, and everybody talk about you every single night, and we're just going to create so much drama, and you're just going to stay here, but you got like 3 months off. How's that sound?"
That's we didn't overpay for him. That was my one thing is I just didn't want to overpay for him. Do you know what I mean? I felt like there was a ceiling for what he was worth, and I was glad to see we didn't pull a Washington Commanders. Look at the cucumber.
Yeah, I'm on doggy duty here, so sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
You haven't seen the ladies or Joe. Well, you've seen Joe a few times. You haven't seen the ladies in a
while.
while.
So hi. What's his name or her name?
Ewok.
Hi, Ewok.
I love it.
Buddy.
Yeah. Just stealing the show.
Oh, doggy.
There's your wide receiver 2 right there, Ewok.
Right. I'm telling you. Oh, so handsome. Oh, Big John.
There was that rumor that that they would have traded Aiyuk to the Steelers if they got Cortland Sutton from the Broncos.
Right, yeah.
And the Broncos said no.
Yeah.
So I wonder if
in week 2, we don't want to lose to them.
I wonder if the Broncos said no because Sean Payton hates Russell Wilson so much.
Right, yeah. I mean,
wouldn't surprise me. He strikes me as very salty.
He does, yeah. For sure.
But I think no matter which way, we can all, I guess, have different opinions on. I'm pretty much with LeeAnn for most of the way there, just maybe different ways of looking on who got what. But they're left with a bit of a pickle now. That's the hard part.
So do you guys believe that Tomlin was like completely blowing smoke at the press conference today that wide receiver 2 position is just completely vacant?
Yeah.
What did he say? That's like, oh, I was concerned.
He said he was worried about it, and he went and told the guys that in the wide receiver room that he was worried, but then he saw them working and they were doing such a good job that now he's not worried anymore, was the long and short of it.
It sounds like an 80s movie.
Yeah,
like a Mike
the other narrative
that
takes me. The other narrative that bothers me is there's a lot of fans, Steeler fans in particular, saying, hey, you know what? Arthur Smith is only a 1 receiver offense. We're good. You must not be paying attention because when you look at like when the Titans had Corey Davis, he was having 900-yard receiving, years. He was having, 5 to 6 touchdowns a year. They used him when AJ Brown was kicking and they got Corey Davis in there. They used him a lot. So you can't tell me that had they not brought in a different receiver, that they would not have used him or utilized him. So the whole narrative that we don't need him with an Arthur Smith offense is just baloney. It's
also, what if Pickens gets hurt? What if Pickens gets double teamed every game?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't pretend like you can only have one wide receiver. There's too many other variables. The one thing I do wonder about a little bit was like if they'll tend to use Freiermuth more as that second wide receiver.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking that they're kind of
got to happen.
They may have to. Yeah. Because the thing about it is when you look at this, and I know we're probably going to get to picking the season, what scares me about that wide receiving room is I'm not so sure Pickens is the number one receiver because of a lot of reasons. He took himself out of the game last year. If he's getting quadruple, coverage, triple coverage, he's not getting the ball, he's going to have a fit, and he's probably going to get that easily. And, I'm not so sure. I've always kind of seen him as the number two. I mean, if he is number one material. He just hasn't shown it yet.
Right.
Could he have a breakout season and get it? Maybe, but I think he's going to have. I mean, if he does, he deserves it because he is going to face.
Said today he's been a model citizen. Those were his
right.
words.
Yeah, that's what Tomlin said. He's grown. He's grown as a man.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well,
ever since that fight with the wide receivers coach, like early in the preseason, ever since that, he's like straightened up and he's been like a model citizen.
Yeah. Well, I was there. Well. Was I there that day? I may not. That was like day one. And I mean, look, you're gonna have that. I think people made a little bit more of it than they needed to. I did text Joe. I was like, Joe, big yelling match right off the bat.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what happened in training camp. It's understandable. Tempers flare up, whatever.
What happens in Latrobe stays in Latrobe.
Literally, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no way it can go out. But what happens when he gets double teamed all the time? Freiermuth gets double teamed, and I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they'll just, I don't know what. Pickens does not get his numbers. Then how is he going to act? Then how is he going to be? And that's how. Yeah, that is a huge question. Is this guy wide receiver one material?
Yeah, he's going in last year. Smart in his ear, letting him know like your contractual future is hanging in the balance. Like you have to get your crap together and show people that you are this guy, and like let everybody think it was all Deontay Johnson and not you.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's hey, you like those $30 million a years these guys are getting? Keep your mouth shut. Have a good attitude. Have a good year. That could be you, bro. So yeah, that's a big incentive. All right.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yep, go for it, Joe. Go ahead.
Let's go. Let's pick these. Let's start our predictions. Okay, we're gonna do game by game.
The hardest. This is gonna be a really difficult.
This is going to be extremely
down to win every game. God.
Why not? Why not? Okay, let's start week 1, Sunday at the Falcons. What do you got?
Loss.
Win.
I think it's a loss.
Win.
You think it's a loss?
Yeah.
Everybody else has win.
Yeah, LeeAnn and I remember what it's like to be at Mercedes-Benz during,
all the Steelers fans. Yeah.
So you think it's going to be like a home game for the Steelers?
It was when Allison and I were there. I mean, it was crazy.
And it sounds like it's going to be again. If just based on the people that are saying they're going and all that shit. Who knows? But yeah, it probably will be.
But this is the Arthur Smith revenge game,
right?
And I don't know. I mean, the big X factor is Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins has barely played. There is a question whether it's going to be Kirk Cousins. It might be Penix.
Is there really? I don't
know.
No,
we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Tomlin keeps talking about Kirk Cousins, so I'm presuming.
Yeah.
But
I think because of the Arthur Smith factor, I think he really wants to stick it to them. But how messed up is this offense going to be with a offensive line that is, who knows what the heck is going on? It's supposed to be the strength, and now it's a mess.
I have it as a loss of circumstance, right? I mean, I don't know who they'd be playing. I mean, you're going out there with new offensive lineman, an injury offensive line. There's so many unanswered questions. And look, you can say, hey, they didn't do real well in the preseason. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean a lot, but it still means something. And they just didn't look good. They're not jiving at all. I just think it's a big task. You go on the road. I know it's going to be probably a home game. You are right about that 100%. But I just really I don't know. I just don't have the faith in that they're just going to come away there with a win. Just because of the way it's new. I mean, these are all new guys, new quarterback, new offensive lineman, new receiving core, new system. Hey, they could throw 50 points up. I don't know, but I don't see it that way. I see it going the wrong way.
This totally has the makings of a disaster of an offense, at least in the beginning, for all the reasons you mentioned. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, but I still say win.
So you wouldn't change your jersey.
I changed my jersey.
Yeah, I was like, what happened?
You go from Plex to Cordell or Plex to
I went from Plex to Juju. Okay, so I've been buying cheap jerseys from eBay, and I just got this Plex one, and it had the smelliest, nastiest smell on it. Not like body odor, but like some kind of detergent that made me ill. And it made me, and I think I was allergic to it too, because I started to itch. I'm like, you know what? I'm just taking this damn thing off. I'm gonna wash it. So that's on me.
Was it game worn and never washed?
I don't know. No, I'm afraid. Okay, week 2 at the Broncos, the Russell Wilson revenge game. I say win.
I say win. Look, I love a freaking revenge game. I think we're going to come out the gate strong. I think Arthur Smith is going to be angry. I think Russell Wilson is going to be really angry. And I think he's shown that he plays well under pressure. Do you know what I mean? That he can make it count when he needs to a lot of times. I think he's going to win. I think we'll fall apart later, but I think we're winning those too.
It's hard to play in Denver. I'm sort of on the fence. I feel like it's going to be a loss. I don't want it to be a loss, but
you got that you got that Mile High thing, so
right, yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if we lost. I just think Russell Wilson's going to bring it. I think if we lose, it's going to be close.
Yeah,
I think it's a win. I think the Broncos are kind of in the same boat, right? New rookie quarterback. If I'm going to say that about our first week in the Falcons, I think it's only fair to say that about the Broncos. I think our defense should be elite. Should be. I think it'll be enough to stop the Broncos. I think it might be a low-scoring game, right? Like maybe like 14-10, 17-14, 17-13, something like that.
3-0.
Yeah, 3-6. Right. So I think they're 1-1 at this point.
Imagine this Steelers defense against a rookie quarterback. That just has. I see. I have this theory that Sean Payton is a jackass. So, for many reasons, I could see this being a failure for the Broncos. So yeah, I'll say Steelers win, because Russell, and the hype around that game is going to be insane. And I'll bet Sean Payton says something really stupid too to really get us all fired up.
He's arrogant.
Okay, the home opener against the Chargers, September 22nd. I think that's a win.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm gonna have him go undefeated.
Yeah, I think it's a win too. I mean, it's just gonna be insane at the ACC. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just gonna be insane.
It's our only home game in the month of September. Thank you, Roger Goodell.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah. So I'll go with a win too. I think the Chargers same way. Harbaugh's there. You want to talk about not such a nice guy. A lot of learning there, a lot of young youth there. Not the Chargers' time. They may be really good in a year or two from now, but yeah, I got it as a win.
People have this notion that the Chargers are going to be so good because Harbaugh is going to, I don't know if he's Gandalf or whatever the hell he is. He has some magic power to magically make his team better. All I've seen is that they've lost a bunch of people, and he has a really good throwing quarterback, so he's going to run all the time. Like this just does not make sense. I feel bad for Herbert, but anyway, I think it's an easy win for. I think the Chargers are going to struggle this year, like you said, Darren. Maybe in a year or two, once he gets his people, maybe they'll be better. But this looks like a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, week 4 against the Colts away. Ooh, I'm gonna say win because it's a revenge from last year.
All these revenge games. It seems like we always have. It seems like the Steelers have issues against the Colts. As far as if I can, I don't know why, but yeah, I feel like they're gonna lose. That's gonna be.
LeeAnn, you have that as a loss also.
Yeah.
So do I.
Wow.
I think the Colts are actually gonna be a pretty good team. You have to admit they were brutally damaged by injury last year. They're a healthy team. They're a very good team.
I think
really
they're a real wild
game.
card this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably one of the better run defenses in the NFL. They're good.
Yeah. And Anthony Richardson, I mean, he's fun to watch too, right? I mean, those mobile quarterbacks are always fun to watch.
He could be a superstar or he could be gone in the second quarter because he's too dumb to realize you can't run over everybody. So
no telling.
There's no telling, but I mean, in theory, I mean, if you look at physical traits, Anthony Richardson might be the most physical gifted quarterback ever, at least, running wise. But I hear things like that he doesn't know how to throw a football. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, we go into October. It's Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, October 6th. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
If it was any other day or time, or if it was in Dallas, I would say this is a loss. But still, I have the Steelers going 5-0. What is wrong with it?
That's wonderful. You're pulling a LeeAnn, Joe. You're doing LeeAnn right now.
All of you, the rest of you are like 2-2 or 3-1, and I have them going 5-0. What do you guys think?
Just pick a loss eventually, even if I don't really believe it, like the Indy one, because I'm like, they gotta lose sometime.
Right.
Come on, man, you're being ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if they start off the season 5-0, it'll be beneficial because that latter half of the season's gonna mess up whatever good they did in the first half. That's for sure.
Okay, so what are you guys picking for this game?
I have it as a loss too. I think that Cowboys defense is going to be too much for this offense, and yeah, it's going to be a loss.
Yep, I'm saying loss as well.
LeeAnn?
Say loss.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You guys are realistic. See, the funny thing is, like, I think they will be 2-2 after 4 games. It'll just be not who knows where those losses.
Right. Yeah.
It won't be what we chose.
Okay. October 13th. It seems like it's a tradition now at Las Vegas.
Right. That's crazy.
I think this is a win.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's a win. We've broken the curse of the Raiders. We struggled with them for years. I think we shook that off. And the ghost of Franco Harris will continue to protect us.
TJ Watt's gonna sack Gardner Minshew like 4 times, and maybe even Nick Herbig will get him a couple times. Yeah.
My favorite story from going to that game last year, there was so many Steeler fans. You talk about Atlanta. The flights were like $82 out to Vegas. And
crazy expensive to the game.
And I think it was maybe Randy Bauman had something similar. I forget who the Raiders quarterback went down. Minshew went down or somebody went down. And I turned to ask a Raider fan, who's the backup quarterback? I couldn't find a Raider fan to ask.
Like, I looked at going,
like, hey, there's LeeAnn, there's Joe, there's Allison. Yeah, nobody's around.
Yeah, so, I looked to go because that Steeler Nation does that partners with that, what do you call it? Before the game. And what do you call that before the game? How did my brain
tailgate?
Tailgate. Yeah, the terrible tailgate. And their guest for the terrible tailgate, Allison and I got to meet Jeff Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
Ooh.
Tailgate. Yeah. That would be really fun. I love drama. So I looked it up. And I don't know, maybe we'll see what happens with the Steelers, but tickets were like $350 to be like up in the nosebleeds.
For the game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, of course, the season hasn't even started yet. So, Steelers tickets are expensive too right now.
Right.
So, who knows? It could change, but As of the other day, I was like, ooh, because Darren's right. The flights are cheap, hotels are cheap.
Right.
But the
game was expensive.
Highly sought. I think the league said, "Hey, sorry about that back half of the schedule, but you could have another Vegas trip."
Right.
Anyway, Darren, do you have this as a win or loss?
I have it as a win, but I think don't get too cocky in that, because I really feel like the Raiders are going to have a pretty stout defense. I think they'll keep this one close too. I don't think we'll go away, but I think LeeAnn kind of or Allison, whoever said it, we figured out the Raiders a little bit. Before it was like 2 years ago, automatic loss because like we couldn't figure out the Raiders, but figured out last year. I think they'll kind of keep it going this year.
That's what they get for making their stadium a giant Roomba.
It
means they're just gonna suck all the time. Good one, me. October 20th, another Sunday night football game, home to the New York Jets. Oh boy, I hate to say this. To me, this is another loss. They're going 7-0.
You mean another win?
Another win. 7-0, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's a loss. Yeah, Jets again. I mean, I really have very little faith in our offense this year. The Jets defense is just too good.
Jets defense is really good.
Offense is good enough. Kicker's good enough to keep it close. I think they win.
Yeah, they were the sole reason why the Jets almost made the playoffs last year.
Yeah. I think we lose in that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm saying the same here. Lost.
Okay. To me, the Jets are such a huge wild card. Everyone has them being so good this year. Aaron Rodgers is going to be great. Oh my God. And it's like, yeah, they almost made the playoffs with freaking Zach Wilson, who Zach Wilson makes Kenny Pickett look like, the love child of Joe Montana and Tom Brady. But I just don't believe. Maybe Aaron Rodgers will collapse at some point, but I think he's a giant fraud. He's a brittle old man, and he's a wacko, and I think he's going to destroy that team. Now he might destroy that team later in the season, or maybe it'll be, but I think he's just a fraud, and he sucks, and he's just a brittle, old weird man. It's like having your crazy uncle or grandpa being the quarterback, and that's why I have no faith in the Jets.
You remember how the Steelers defense solely beat the Cleveland Browns in that one game? That's what I'm afraid is going to happen to us in the game against the Jets. Their offense isn't going to be any good, but their defense is going to manage to put enough pressure on our offense because of our fractured offensive line and lack of wide receivers or whatever else it is, and be able to make that a game that they win.
We will see. All right. And then the next week, this is our New Jersey gauntlet. They play home on Monday Night Football to the New York Football Giants.
Win.
8-0, baby. 8-0. Let's go.
I don't know that I can tolerate this. I never get outpicked.
Right.
It just happened.
Fun of me last year. You made fun of me last year, and here you are 8-0.
I don't.
She's got a point.
Maybe it's a laundry detergent in that dude's shirt. Right? I don't know. It's making me crazy. The bye is week 9, which is right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Win.
Good.
Win.
Oh,
win. They're gonna win the bye. Okay. Then we start the second half, the tough part of the schedule. Week 10 and November 10th at the Commanders. Win.
Although they're one of the tougher teams to figure out. I'm not sure if they're finally ready to take a step forward or not. I like the Jaden Daniels pick. Then they just got rid of Johan Dotson, who I would love to have seen come here.
They're so dysfunctional.
Yeah, but they're so dysfunctional. It's just they're another team you can never trust. So yeah, win.
I would have loved Dotson. That would have been perfect. Low risk. Could have gone for a 3rd or 4th round draft pick or something like that.
Warren even
would have been perfect. Okay, so everybody has that as a win.
Yep.
Now we begin the conference, the division schedule. Home to the Ravens. Okay, now we're getting our first loss.
I'm gonna go with a win. I think it starts off with, and it's the Ravens, and no matter, I don't care if the Ravens are Super Bowl contenders or guaranteed, the Steelers always have the best of them or have their number. And I think this is the game they win. So at home, I like us against the Ravens.
I got us winning too. I think we'll split our division games with those teams. That's kind of my historical prediction every year that we, with the new and improved AFC North, then we'll split the games with them. So I think we're going to beat the Ravens at home.
I agree.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, now have them going 10-0 or something.
10. Well, no, I have them going 10-1.
Who did they lose? Who did you pick as a loss?
The Ravens. Just this past one.
Gotcha.
Now we have November 21st, Thursday night football at the Browns. I think that's a guaranteed loss.
Yeah.
It's a short week playing a good team with arguably the best defense in the NFL. It's a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has that as a loss.
Cleveland in a new Huntington Bank Stadium, as it was released today.
Okay.
December 1st at the Bengals. I say that's a loss also.
Yeah, I'm a loss.
The Bengals are my Super Bowl pick.
Really?
Yeah. Bengals against Lions. I think that's going to be the Super Bowl.
Joe Burrow, man, I saw Joe Burrow's hair for the first time today, and I was like, "What the?"
Is that his Cody Rhodes cosplay thing?
Yes.
He's trying to be Cody Rhodes.
Shady. Like, remember
Cody
the old
Rhodes is
video?
Right, yeah.
Real Slim Shady pre-stand up. That's who he looks like he's trying to be to me.
I think it's Cody Rhodes is one, Slim Shady's two, and then the Zach Morris one's not bad, but Zach had better hair.
Oh, Zach, what from Saved by the Bell?
Yeah.
I feel like it's too blonde to be like it's super blonde. If
So
I looked at it
blonde.
right, it looked like it's almost white.
Listen, when you look like the Home Alone kid, you would radically change your look too.
That's true.
Home, December 8th, week 14, home to the Browns. I say it's a loss.
Win.
I go with the LeeAnn playbook on that one. I think they split them. I think it's a win.
So, LeeAnn, you have that as a win also?
I have it as a win.
December 15th at the Eagles. Bet your house, bet your neighbor's house, bet your children. That is a guaranteed loss.
Yeah, Eagles are good. They're really good. I think it's a loss too. I think Jalen Hurts bounces back in a big year this year.
I think the Eagles are going. Yeah, I agree. I think the Eagles are going to be really good this year. There's no way they could possibly suck again. There's just way too much talent on that team.
Yeah.
By the way, I was at the Pitt game. Pitt played Kent State in their home opener on Saturday. And they do this thing. I'm sure they do it in every college where it's like, hey, let's take a look at how our players are playing in the pros. And they show this guy and that guy. And then they show Kenny Pickett and the crowd starts booing.
Him. So classless.
Like, guys, Pitt has sucked for all of my life, and the only reason they were good and won a conference championship the one year was because of Kenny Pickett.
And then the kid. Yeah.
Show some appreciation.
I mean, I think that's where, Pittsburgh and Philly, they have that passion, guys. And I just think the Steeler fans came out over the Pitt fans. And I don't say you're wrong, LeeAnn or Joe, but yeah, I saw that. And
it's hard to separate because, I mean, I am a diehard Pitt fan, but I'm also a Steeler fan. I did not boo. I laughed. I laughed at the people booing.
I think about it is that, it did, I don't know. I guess I look at it like this way all the time. I don't think he did anything that was so terrible. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he intentionally lost games or crapped all over the franchise. He wasn't very good. I think he got thrown to the wolves. He had a terrible offensive coordinator, a bad offensive line.
It's the way he left.
Overinflated coming out of college. I think he threw a temper tantrum like a little child and left. But look, I don't begrudge anybody doing what they have to do. So it didn't work out. And if you're going to be a baby, then I'd rather see the back of you. So I don't know. I don't have any ill will towards him. I cheered for him when he was here. Do you know what I mean? I cheered for him. Cheer for anybody who's a Steeler.
Yeah, but it was just a small number of people that were booing. And
I heard some people said it was a massive amount of people, and then other people are like, it was a handful of people. So
first of all, there was not a massive amount of people in the stadium. It was half empty.
Be honest about how many people went to this game. First of all,
that's why I like going to those pit games. The weather is warm, and I can sit anywhere I want, and I have 2-3 seats all to myself. I can spread out. Steeler game, I'm all smushed in because it's packed. That's why I like going to pit games. Week 16, December 21st at the Ravens. I say that's a loss too.
Loss.
See, I think when everybody says, look at their record against the Ravens, they're 7-1 in the last 4 years. Some of that is the Ravens have been so good that they played their backups. And some of that is, well, I don't want to say luck, but I think law of averages is going to come back and bite them on that one.
I think this is the beginning of the down spiral, right? And we talked about this a while back in Allison. I think you chimed in about how tough that is. It's 3 games over 14 days. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I lost to the Eagles, lost to the Ravens, and I'll already tell you it's a loss to the Chiefs. I mean, that turnaround time is ridiculous.
It's already a short week because they're going to play Saturday against the Ravens, and then they're going to play Christmas against the Chiefs. I think that's another loss. I don't care what. I don't care if the Chiefs sit all their players. I think they would still beat the Steelers. I think Carson Wentz Chiefs would beat the Steelers.
It would be different for me if this was like the Giants and the Cardinals and the Saints, but it's arguably 3 of the best teams in the entire league.
Right.
And again, it's not the Steelers suck. It's a young team, which this is what you go through as a young team. So loss for me.
Yep.
And then the last week 18, we don't have a date of this game,
right?
Which is really weird.
Usually the last game of the season is kind of always TBD, right? Until it's
TBD. But are we talking New Year's Eve? Or are we talking? I don't know. Well, no, it would have to be. They would have to get a nice break, so it would be like first week in January or something like that.
I got to disagree with Darren on this one because I think that Cincy's going to lock up the division, and so I don't think they're going to be playing all their starters. And this is at home, and this is our chance to beat the Bengals because we're going to split these games with the Bengals, and we already gave them their win. So I think we beat the Bengals.
Well, so not the correct, but I have lost to Philly, Baltimore, and the Chiefs. I didn't have them losing to Cincinnati.
Do you you think they'll beat Cincinnati?
No, we didn't get to the Bengals.
I misunderstood.
Okay,
so the last 3.
So last game, Bengals at home. Darren, you have a win. LeeAnn, you have a win. Allison, what do you have?
I think they're gonna
lose. Okay. So
that's an interesting game, guys, because to Joe's point, I think the Bengals are going to be better too. This is a Bengals team was really bad and decimated by injury, and they finished at over 500 last year. Mm-hmm. That game could be that swing game for the 8th seed in the playoffs.
Right.
There could be a lot on the line in that game. Yeah. And the reason I have a little bit of a win there, I know I've been critical of him, but in those type of games, I like Tomlin to maybe come out on top. I just figure out a way. Might not be pretty, might be damn down ugly, but I just kind of feel that's the way that would go. So yeah.
So our final totals is I have them going 10-7. Darren, you have them going 7-10. Allison, you have them going 7-10, and LeeAnn, you have them going 9-8.
Yeah, I'm really on the fence because there's a part of me that thinks we're going to get a Christmas miracle, but I'll stick with my 9-8.
Well, it's interesting now that we tallied the numbers because I was adamant that it's not going to be Tomlin's first losing season. And now I basically just said it was going.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be one of those difficult ones too, right? Because there's always that faction. Tomlin sucks. He just knows how to win in the regular season. Mm-hmm. The minute he has a losing season, they forget Cowher had some losing seasons. But the way I do look at it is this would be the one year that's almost not fair to him because of the brutality of that schedule. And I think what it was at Joe, when they start with Baltimore at home, those last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those last 8 or 9 games are just, brutal. It's got to be tough to schedule. It's brutal. You have a team that's young. You have an offensive line right now. It's a little banged up. You have, I still can't get over the fact that you have a guy who should be a franchise left tackle playing at right tackle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The only thing where I think they score a couple wins in there too is cold weather, late in the season. And if you want to bring in the Arthur Smith faction, then I'm good with. They may just run the ball down their throats and do the best they can. And we're still going to be in that area. We're not going to score a lot of much above 21 or 24 points a game, but it might be just enough to get a few wins in that time of the year. But it'll be hard to say, Tomlin can't get it done. Give me next year. And what can we do in the offense?
The Steelers for years, like this really horrible, tough schedule. Like, I don't think this is new, but the difference is that we haven't had a team that's been like this young and disjointed, and the new offensive coordinator. And I don't know, for some reason, even like Kenny Pickett's first year, it didn't feel quite this like chaotic to me, like as it does right now. Like in past years, when they always put us up against Tom Brady every single year, at least you could say like we had Ben Roethlisberger, do you know what I mean? And we had that good offensive line, and we had a good defense, and you had all this stuff going on. We were winning games. We were contenders. But like now, like it just feels like intentionally beating up on a team while they're down a little bit.
Yeah. Chiefs, Eagles, and Ravens within 14 days. So that, to me, that says it all.
That Christmas gauntlet with the strength of those teams that we're playing, and then it's like the Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, or whatever that is. I mean, that's just. How do you talk about player safety, and that's what you have going?
Right. Yeah. Merry Christmas,
you guys. Let's take what Joe just did. That's with Russell Wilson as quarterback. What would you say?
That's true.
If Fields was our quarterback, would it change your opinion of the schedule?
I think it would be 9-8. I think it would be maybe even 8-9. I think if it was Fields all year, I think he would do things that are amazing, and I think he would do things that would drive us crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would all even out, but I think it would be slightly worse than Russell Wilson.
I'm hoping that Arthur Smith has designed that kind of offense that we keep hearing that he's going to design, which is one that makes it so that whether it's Russell Wilson or it's Justin Fields, that you have an effective game manager who can kind of control the run game and, make some of those passes. And in big case of Justin Fields, either the deep ball for Wilson or some running for Justin Fields, that, they have enough that they can kind of make something happen without having to have like a Patrick Mahomes under center. Do you know what I mean? That's a different kind of offense. So, I mean, that's my hope, is that it's going to be I call it like the Brock Purdy offense. Like, Brock Purdy is not a great quarterback. He's in a great offensive system that almost any quarterback could go into and succeed, because I think it's designed so well. I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes by any stretch. I'm not knocking the kid, but, I just think he's in a really good situation. So my hope is that this new scheme by Arthur Smith is good enough that with either quarterback, it would be close.
Yeah, I agree. You put Kirk Cousins in the 49ers, they win.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm not saying somebody better. I'm saying that I'm agreeing with a lot of quarterbacks in there that could do what Brock Purdy does. I don't think he's doing anything that's that special.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. I think it's a great point.
I think it's
all we need from the offense is just to be average. All we need from the offense is to just not have so many 3 and outs. That's all we need. Yeah. We just need to be better than last year. That's it. Do you think this year's defense is better than last year's defense? I say
100%.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
So the defense improved. We just need the offense to improve. And we're not, like you said, we're not asking them to put up 40 points a game. We're just asking, even if you don't score, just eat up the clock or something like that. Keep the defense fresh. Complimentary football, people. That's all we want.
Yeah. Barring any major injuries, I don't see any like 34-10 losses in here. I just kind of keep on thinking back, like, in those years when Cowher was going 6-10, the other thing was happening. He was drafting guys like Hines Ward and Troy Polamalu, and he was drafting guys like Alan Faneca. And I'm not saying or proclaiming, and these guys they just drafted are those guys. I think Roman Wilson could be a great slot receiver someday. But I just think that they're in that lull, and I don't think there's a blame game here. It's just this is the way, ebbs and tides. Steelers fans have been very lucky that Mike Tomlin has been able to have a winning season all these years. And if you lose a little bit, you lose a little bit. So
everybody.
I'm not saying Steelers suck. I'm saying I just feel like they're in that area right now where
we never had our post Hall of Fame quarterback recession or our part where we sucked. Look at the Patriots. When Brady left, they went to hell. Look at the Steelers when Ben Roethlisberger left. It did not go to hell. We still were able to have a winning record with Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason freaking Rudolph. And that is a testament to Tomlin, which is great, but we're stuck in the middle. And now we're at this spot where we're still saying, what the hell do we do? Who's our quarterback? We don't know who our quarterback is next year.
Right. Yeah.
The quarterback may or may not be on the roster.
So how much do you think it matters whether it's Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? Because I feel like they're in the same boat here. How much do you think it impacts gameplay this year that these guys need it? Like they need it. Do you know what I mean? For different but similar reasons. Like they both feel like they have to prove it. Russell Wilson has to prove that he wasn't like the ruination of the Denver Broncos and it wasn't all his fault and he still can play. And Justin Fields needs to prove that he wasn't like a total wash coming out of college. You know what I mean? He's got to prove that he's got a legitimate shot at a career. How much do you think that helps either one of them?
I think it's huge. I think that's huge motivation. And I think that's part of the Steelers mindset. And maybe that's what they were doing to Najee. It's like, if we give you a contract, you're going to be all fat and happy, but we're going to make we want you to have your career year. And then, hey, maybe go somewhere else next year. Who cares?
We got a lot of those prove it guys on our team this year.
Exactly. There's a lot of prove it. There's a lot of, I mean, Russell Wilson is not just he's playing for his career.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do feel like
the thought of Russell Wilson is, he's a joke. He's an old man. He sucks. He ruined the Broncos. He even Seahawks fans hate him. Yeah. He so needs to rehabilitate his image in his career.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. I mean, I totally agree, and I feel like for sure there's no way he wouldn't want to do that. But I think just because of the opposite ends of the spectrum that they are in their careers, I feel like Justin Fields, you know what I mean? Like his career, like if he ends up coming in and playing, for the Steelers or whatever, and he ends up sucking,
he's done.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
over.
He's going to be a career backup.
Yeah, it's over because they're not going to tolerate a guy that's going to turn it over.
I mean, it's more of an ego thing, I think, for him.
He's playing for his career, but let's say there's a scenario where Russell Wilson plays all year and you barely see Justin Fields at all.
Yeah, then what do we do?
That's kind of okay because he's still, he could go try it again somewhere else, be the number 2 guy.
I just feel like if we're gonna pick a quarterback, right? I would like it to be Fields next year. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if he, as long as he doesn't come in and like totally crap the bed. If we don't know what he can do, you know what I mean? During the regular season, it's like
no doubt he's a playmaker. I mean, he. I was in the probe quite a bit, and I had my little pass, and I wasn't exactly doing a lot of media stuff. It was work related and whatnot. And I told Joe some of the spirals he threw were incredible. He has a much bigger arm than Wilson. He can be at times more accurate. There's a couple times he took off, and it was like, "Good night, you are not going to get him." One thing too, Allison, we touched on a little bit earlier. The one thing I did here at camp, and Joe and I've talked about this a few times. There's a lot of positivity with this offense. And the guys who were here the last couple of years, Freiermuth being one of them, that was a little vocal. I finally feel like we know what we're doing. Like we have a direction. Like we have the words I heard a lot were, I feel like we have a plan, which we don't want to bury Matt Cannon any more than we have, but it just proves that they didn't feel that way the last couple of years.
Keep on burying him.
Right. So, yeah, pile it on, Joe.
Yeah,
So, there is some sense of that. And you're right. I mean, Fields' turnovers during preseason scare a lot of people. But, man, I think that he could be a playmaker, make a difference maker. And I want to see him succeed. I hope he does. But Russell Wilson's brought in because he doesn't turn the ball over. He's one of the best in NFL history in turnover percentage. And that's what this offense is. That's what you need. You need a guy that's not going to turn over the ball. And if you can get Justin Fields in there and do a little Cordell Stewart stuff, I'm really showing my yinzer now. Great. Run, throw deep, whatever he's going to do. and develop him that way and watch Russell Wilson, because I know he's 35, but hey, that guy last year had 25 touchdowns and 6 picks. We would have killed for that last year.
Yeah.
Probably would have made a difference in having us be maybe a 10-win team or 11-win team if that would have happened last year. We just didn't have it. Now we do. That's what you need with offense.
It makes me laugh that Tomlin last week said, oh yeah, I know you guys are asking about fields and special packages and stuff, so yeah, we might do something like that. Like, nobody asked you that, bro. You just want to throw it out there.
Right. I said to somebody, though, people went nuts and they're like, Mike Tomlin said they'll weaponize Justin Fields. I was like, no, he didn't, dumbass. You need to listen. He said maybe. I said he says maybe to everything, because you know what? Maybe pigs will fly out of his butt. It could happen. It's not very likely. I'm like, y'all need to act like you've never been here before.
Didn't he actually come out and say Raheem Morris has to be prepared for Justin Fields?
Exactly. That's why he did it.
Yeah,
he
just
just
they're
said,
like best buddies or something, aren't they?
Well, no, he's telling the other team, haha, now you have to prepare for Justin Fields, haha. You have to, instead of preparing for whatever is actually going to happen, or you're going to prepare for this theoretical thing that probably isn't going to happen.
Everybody knows that there's like no chance that he's going to be sending Justin Fields out there to run any kind of special packages. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Right. No, and but that's why I kind of have that game going into Falcons as a loss, because it's the behind the scenes stuff too, guys. It's really hard to go against a team you have really no film on. That team is so new coaching, new offensive pattern. You're not really sure what they're going to do. They're basically going off of last year's film. What the hell is good is that? So it's a very difficult win. They're better, I think, than the Falcons are, but it's a big ask to have them go and beat a team they know really nothing about.
But isn't that us too, though? Aren't they doing the same thing?
A little bit. Yeah.
They don't have to film on us either.
We're a little bit known, but in theory, Atlanta knows what we're going to do because they know Arthur Smith in theory.
In theory.
We'll see.
But he wasn't the offensive coordinator there. He was the head coach. And I think that's a very different kind of role. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they were necessarily in Atlanta running his offense from Tennessee.
Right.
But that's because the Falcons last year had, I believe, Desmond Ridder, and I think the year before that they had Marcus Mariota, and either of those two guys combined are not as good as Kenny Pickett. They are horrible quarterbacks. So yeah, I mean, and I think Arthur Smith is just not a head coach, but I think he is a good offensive coordinator. So and he has a lot to prove. He has, but sorry, go ahead, Darren.
Are you going to the game in Atlanta this year too?
No, I'm not. Lost my foot.
You were a good luck charm.
Yeah. I was hoping for a selfie or something there.
Oh, yeah. Alice and I need to do a game again soon. That was really fun, but I won't make it to Atlanta this year.
The 4 of us should really try to get to a game together. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That would
be
cool.
The podcast live from the.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Allison and I went to Atlanta, we did our show live from there. It was really fun.
Very cool.
It was. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm just yes, I said I had them going 4-0, but I think what's actually going to happen is they're going to start 1-3, and people are going to freak out, and then they're going to get it together, because that's what Tomlin teams do. They start out slow and they figure it out, and they get. So you know what? They're going to suck until week 9. They're going to suck into the bye, and then after the bye, they're going to figure it out. And even though it's a gauntlet, even though it's a tough schedule, they're gonna figure it out. It's probably gonna end up being 9-8 or 10-7.
That would be the most Steeler thing ever to lose the first half of the season and then kill it the last half of the season for all these games you're supposed to lose. That's such a silly thing to do.
You throw in there, you're gonna get a Cam Sutton that's very healthy and still a very good player.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not still. I hate to be this way. I'm still not sure I'm liking him, picking him up for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe I'm that guy.
No, you're right. I mean, what he did was terrible.
Like most Steelers thing ever would be him picking off 3 or 4 balls over the last 8 or 9 weeks, and we win because of one of his turnovers. And we'll see.
Another guy that's on a little bit of a redemption tour once he gets back.
Right.
Another one. Prove it.
And that might come along at the right time, because that's when we hit that gauntlet and we could use a fresh guy.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I think Tomlin didn't. Tomlin knew, he was going to be. Tomlin had to know he was going to be suspended for a long time, right? So,
right.
I don't think this long though. Yeah. I don't think 8 games, but still,
right.
Was it the minimum like 6 games or something? So I mean, you knew he was going to get at least 6.
Yeah. Yeah. 6 made sense. 8 was pretty harsh, which makes you think what he did was really, really bad.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And he didn't even appeal it.
No,
he's
like, running from the cops cost him those extra 2 weeks. Running from the cops. Do you know what I mean? Not just owning your nonsense and dealing with it. I think that hurt him.
Yep.
The one universal thing a lot of people said about him, though, including in Detroit, is how intelligent he is with the defense, picking it up and Tomlin at one point had him no problem eventually being defensive captain, but things happen, blah blah blah, and so that could be a shot, an extra boost too there, Joe, in that last 8 or 9 weeks. Maybe you're right.
We will see. We will see. Oh my God, guys, we're talking about actual football.
Yay!
The last 6 months have been geared toward this week.
Oh,
finally.
Yes.
No mock drafts, no OTAs, no training camp stats, no 7 shots. Actual football. So excited.
So am I.
And I'm so happy that we all got together. I love when we all are able to hang out.
Same here, LeeAnn. It's been a while since, I was gone for a while, and then you were a little bit, and then we were both gone, and now the whole
we got the band back together again, baby.
Together.
Yes,
guys, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Have a good week.
Go Steelers.